What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the BS Show. It is officially Monday, and we are 12 days away from UFC 232 on December 29th, which is probably one of the biggest fight cards of the year. I love this about the UFC. The UFC always tries to end the year with a bang and have a huge card, and once again, they delivered. I mean, look at this card here. It is just absolutely stacked. There's big-name fighters all over this card, great matchups all over this card, and I couldn't be more excited. Not only do we have the legend BJ Penn coming back, we got Chad Mendes at his second fight back, and we also have Carlos Condit against Michael Chiesa. That's going to be a great fight. But the two fights that I wanted to talk about was the co-main event and the main event. The co-main event, we have Chris Cyborg against Amanda Nunes, however you want to pronounce that. This is going to be a fight. I mean, Chris Cyborg, we both, Steven and I agree that she might be half dude, half chick, or half robot. She just looks amazing. She runs through everybody, but she's got a tough competitor in Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes has got great stand-up, and I feel like that's where this fight's going to be. They are both very tough fighters, very well-rounded, very good. So that is a great, great fight for the co-main event. And I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything, but normally women's fights, to me, I'm not a huge women's fight fan, but this fight I'm really excited for because I know they're going to bang it out. But the main event, which the fight everyone's going to be tuning into this card for, is Jon Jones against Alexander Gustafsson 2. They fought 3 to 4 years ago. I'm not exactly sure the time, but Jon Jones won via decision. I went and watched that fight a couple weeks back to really have it fresh in my mind. And I'm not so sure that Jon Jones deserved to win that fight, but then again, I'm not so sure Alexander Gustafsson deserved to win that fight either. That was, in my opinion, the greatest light heavyweight fight of all time. If you have not watched that fight, I highly suggest you go watch it. Alexander Gustafsson seems to be the only guy that Jon Jones has fought that poses a legitimate threat, a legitimate problem. He's tall, he's long, his striking is great, being he used to be a boxer. I'm talking about Gustafsson here. So, everything that he does, or Jon Jones does, Gustafsson could do it just as well. And the one thing that I noticed in the first fight was Jon Jones could not secure a takedown until late in the fifth round. He was, I believe, 0 for 9 in takedowns until late in the fifth round when he finally landed a takedown. So, Gustafsson's not easy to take down. So this is, a huge thing going into this fight was a lot of people do believe Gustafsson should have won. He stuffed all of his takedowns going into late into the fifth round, and he stood and banged with Jon Jones and pieced him up pretty good. Not to mention Jon Jones is coming out off a long layoff, and we don't know what he's going to look like. We assume he's going to look sharp. We assume he's going to look great, but we can't confirm that 100%. There's always those thoughts when you haven't fought in a while, especially fighting a monster like Alexander Gustafsson. So thank you for tuning in, guys. I couldn't be more pumped for this fight. Steven and I will do an official fight breakdown at some point this week, but this is UFC 232 on December 29th. Make sure you buy that fight card and drop your fight picks below. Thank you for tuning in.